Welcome, fans, once again to KB's Unemployed show, the only show on the internet where you can sit at your job and watch a guy who doesn't have one anymore. What will KB do today? Change guitar strings, perhaps? Grade papers? Worry about his future? Who knows? The only thing we know is it's guaranteed to make you question your intelligence, simply because you're watching it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the unemployed lifestyle of KB.
The pods are now open.
Look at my cat. Look at my cat. Look.
I like to study about the world cities and airports.
KB brings just great instincts. That's what you love about him.
Oh, that boy ain't right.
If Andy yearns for Brenda and Brenda cares about Charlene, who pines for Andy, the three of them form one of these. Kara.
What is it, threesome?
No.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Lesbians. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
I don't mind a bit of bush.
37 in a row? Shut the up, okay? Shut the up.
Do you want to start drinking?
Yes.
You know I'm gonna have to go for 420, Bob.
Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its!
Light this candle.
He's right. Let's light this candle.
Light the candle.
Are you ready for it?
And that candle is lit. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to KB's Unemployed show. We're at unemployment day number 48. 48 days of unemployment and counting. And it does not look right now, as it stands, that there will be any movement in that area as of yet. Although I'm starting to think that maybe I better start looking for something. But school starts tomorrow, so I've got that going on. School starts tomorrow, so I have it's syllabus day, and syllabus day for school for me. I really didn't like. Well, I liked college, but you hated going back to school. So when I started teaching, I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to be one of those douchey professors that goes in and in your very first class, they go down the list and maybe do a roll call or what have you. And I even had teachers that didn't do that. They really didn't care. It was just like, come in and I'm just going to start talking. But the ones who would come in and then immediately start talking about, just start lecturing. Here we go. Boom. We're going to lecture. And hated that, man. It's syllabus week, right? I mean, come on, we're 21-year-old kids. You can't, you just can't jump in with both feet on the. You just can't go head first into the semester, man. You got to ease into it and give them a chance to figure things out. But it's really not about them. It's actually about me, because I just finished up preparation for my course tomorrow. Every single year. It's the biggest lie that I tell myself. Every single semester, it's like, you know what? I'm going to get this done. And I'm going to just put it in the can, and we are going to be ready to go. And I'm going to take a couple of days off before I started. And I never do. It's always right up to the last minute. So I'll go in tomorrow, introduce, just go around and introduce the kids. I always ask them, a stupid question, just to disarm them. But I'm not goofy in the sense like some teachers try to be cool. I'll just ask them, just stupid stuff, just to get them to talk. But that will be starting tomorrow, and I will fill you in on that tomorrow afternoon at the show. I will let you know how it went. I did look at my roster, my class roster, and I've got four kids that use pronouns. Well, I mean, we all use pronouns, right? But four that have declared their pronouns. And that's really, it's really kind of hard. It's really kind of hard for me to, with my smart ass way of looking at things, to handle that, because well, for this reason and this reason. Um, I have a she. I have two she theys, and I'm not getting the plural. I don't. I don't get that. I don't get the plural thing. It could be a he, you could be a she, but what's a they? I don't know, but you just let it go because you got to respect everybody. If that's the way they feel, that's the way they feel, and there's nothing you can do about it. Who am I? You know, who am I to judge and say you can't be that? I don't care what you are. Just turn in your shit, basically. But now, as the show is starting to take shape, I'd like to explain that I'm going to have guests coming up this week. Uh, right now, tomorrow is going to be a school day review. Um, and, we'll have the usual fun, my top five list. I got a fun top five list today. Um, but we will have the usual top five list. And I'll just do a review of the first day of class. Hell, I might even give my lecture. I might even do that. I might just give the whole lecture. You can all be college students for a day, and you can see what KB does when he walks into class. And then Wednesday, I've got Mags and Kate, who Mags is a former Maggie. She's a former student of mine at Marquette. And so I said, hey, why don't you come and be a guest on my show? Basically, I'm taking the same approach that I did when I was on with Drew. And that is, if you get guests, the more they talk, the less you have to. All you got to do is prep for the guest, and then you let them kill time. So I got Mags and Kate coming on. So it'll be sorority day here on the KB show, KB's Unemployed show. And then Thursday, I've got a friend of mine who I go back with him about 30 plus years and kind of lost touch with him, I guess you could say. And he's kind of a big deal on the interweb now, I guess, in some circles. But a friend of mine from Chicago who is going to come on, and we're going to hang out. We'll probably talk a lot about the old days of doing comedy and some of our old friends. It might be, a lot of the stuff will be inside, a lot of inside jokes. But Jimmy Dore is coming on with me on Thursday. Jimmy is going to. Right now, he's got a YouTube show. He's got a lot of followers. Tends to be a little bit more. Well, no, he doesn't tend to be. He's very politically. He's politically motivated in his talk. But he's got the same type of dry, sarcastic sense of humor that I do. So we get along very, very good. Very good. Yeah, we got good along. We get along very well. And so I kind of saw that he was having some success. So I reached out. I said, "Hey, dude, you want to come on and do the show?" He's like, "Hell yeah!" And he said, as a matter of fact, he said, "I." He goes, He remembers a joke from my set from 30 years ago. He goes, "God, I tell that joke all the time." He goes, "I told it the other day." He goes, "I credited you, but I told it the other day to somebody, and I was just laughing my ass off." I don't know if it was all that funny. Well, it was kind of funny, but it was also very tasteless, and it would also get you canceled today. But that's where the best humor is, I happen to think. Uh, so we will have that going on. And again, welcome to everyone that's here. James, if you lecture tomorrow, do we have to pay for it? No, you don't have to pay for it. Let me put the comments up there. No, you don't have to pay for it. You can audit the course. You don't have to pay for it. It'd be a lot cheaper. I look at it and I go, I basically teach the same course, and I'm not at Marquette this semester, but I would teach the same course at UWM and Marquette, because it's the exact same subject matter. So uh, I'm sitting there going, I'm looking at the kids at Marquette, and I'm like, man, if you would just go take the same course over at UWM, you'd save yourself about $3,500, um, if not more, if not more. But hey, and UWM pays better, so that's the thing. Is that tell you the sweetest thing about working at UWM was when I had multiple classes several years ago, and I got into that with university or into the state of Wisconsin healthcare system. Holy cats! It's like you look at it and go, "Wow, no wonder the state was broke. This was just gold. This was pure gold." But anyway, so that is coming up on the week as I stumble along here. But that, as I said, I'm going to start to do this. Show's starting to take shape, and now we're going to go through some headlines and some news. So here are today's headlines. In today's headlines, leading the top story today is Minnesota, and Minneapolis is still the most effed up city in the world. I have no idea what's going on up there. The only thing I know is they don't know what's going on up there anymore. And I guarantee you, people don't even know what they're pissed about. All they're at the point is, I can't even track it back to find out what the subject is at hand. What is, it's get out, ICE has got to get out of here. We got to get these people out, this and that. And just, it's so out of control. You can't even get back to, finding out where to begin. I don't even know it. It's almost like I would always call it Irish amnesia. You forget everything but the grudge. And I think that's exactly where they are right now, is they forget everything but the grudge. Of course, the massive winter storm Fern battered the U.S. this weekend. A heavy trail of snow, ice, power outages. It went all the way from like Texas all the way up to New York. 18 lives, unfortunately, were claimed, and New York City got 15 inches of snow in Manhattan. Philadelphia got 9 inches of snow. I know Boston got crushed. My son was up in Boston. Tennessee had a lot of power outages, a lot of ice. 800,000 customers lost electricity. Travel was out of control. And now it's going to be this extreme cold coming behind it, and which I think sucks more than all the snow. But here's the issue: is what the hell kind of name is Fern? I mean, it's winter storm Fern. Fern's a lunch lady. Fern isn't a storm. It's not a vicious storm that should be, ravaging our country. Fern's, she's slopping macaroni and cheese onto a plate. Winter storm Fern. They got to get their heads out of their butts and come up with some better names for winter storms. How about this one? Gen Zers have a new trend. There is a new trend sweeping Gen Z right now. It's called very popular. It's called an analog bag. An analog bag. What it is, it's basically a tote. It's basically a tote or a canvas bag that is packed with non-digital goodies. Like crossword puzzles, knitting needles, watercolor sets, notebooks, fidget toys, coloring books. And the goal of that is to swap out the phone for something fun and hands-on when boredom hits. Really, like, let me show you something like these things that I sit and do. I got these brain teaser puzzles. I sit and do those, except Sue gets really pissed because they make a lot of clacking noises. There, right? You just rearrange stuff. Let me just reach under my desk here and show you what I got. Oh, yeah. Coloring books. There we go. And as you can see, this was a gift back here from my son. Don't be a twatsicle. But I got, adult coloring books. And I've got, I've shared these before. I got 72 markers. And I got colored pencils. And I've got crayons. Okay. And you know what? It says this is they said it's a toy box for your attention span. And she says she'll stop. This one woman says, Sierra Campbell said she'll put anything she can grab into that bag instead of phone. And it said this idea was inspired by a habit expert by the name of Charles Duhigg. No, it wasn't. Sorry, Chuck, you're not getting credit for this. It was inspired by kids who didn't have shit. That's what it was. It wasn't inspired by some guy who is now a habit expert, because that guy is just somebody who figured out that nobody was talking about a situation, went back and looked at stuff we used to do, called himself an expert. Next thing you know, he's making a ton of cash, right? Well, now it's turned into a whole thing on TikTok where it's people, it's like, this is so messed up. I mean, it's like, hey, look what's in my analog bag. Really? Really? Why don't we get those in, they have those in schools. It's called kindergarten, for Christ's sake, and they don't even do that now. Analog bags. But, it might just be the solution that we're all looking for because I'm definitely trying to, every chance I get, I'm trying to tune out. And I guarantee you, if it wasn't for the fact that I have to keep my, until something breaks, and I make a decision one way or the other, whether I'm going to go back into media or stay, just drop out of sight. I guarantee you, if I wasn't in this situation that I'm in now, where I'm at this crossroads and I had a firm direction going one way, I would have, boom, it would have been back to the flip phone and all of that stuff would be gone. All of it would be gone. In fact, I'm not going to dump cable, but I'm going to cut way back on all the stuff that we've got. I mean, the money that you're wasting on things. You watch 5 shows. So I think I'm going to go to digital TV. And I did steal my mom's password for her Spectrum so I can log into everything except the local channels. But she doesn't watch this show. So don't, and if anyone knows, don't tell her because she'll go, that's illegal. And then I'll get yelled at. And I'm, as old as I am, I do not need to be yelled at. And then finally, this is the final story of the day. There is, and this is what, you would think that this might be as a what color is the sky on your planet, but it really isn't. But there was a study that was done at the Australian National University with 800 men and women. And what they learned was that men with larger penises or peni were seen as 4 to 7 times more attractive by women than men who had smaller peni. Now, what they did was they threw computer-generated images in front of computer-generated male images in front of the subjects on the panel, and like I said, it was men and women. They asked them to rate the figure's sexual attractiveness for the women, and men were asked to assess how threatened they were by the men that they were looking at. And both of them found there was a drastic, marked difference in the way that people felt about the big men with big peni versus the men with littler peni. Women who said they looked at them, there were a variety of different body shapes and sizes. And then they had variances in the peni, right? And women rated men who were taller with a V-shaped upper body and a larger penis more attractive. However, they say there was a point where a further increase in the size or the height had a diminishing value. So it's only, up to a certain size is it more attractive. Once after that, it's like freak. It goes, no, that is not attractive at all. And the male counterparts, when they saw the guys with the big peen, they said they viewed them as a greater rival with better fighting ability and a stronger sexual competitor. So the women were attracted to the big peen and the men were intimidated by it. Now, and I love, this is, you get a professor emeritus, and I love the way academics speak. So Michael D. Jennings, a professor emeritus of evolutionary biology at Australian National University. It's like, what option, if you major in evolutionary biology, what other choice do you have other than going into being a college teacher to teach to pass your knowledge on to another group of people who have no use for it? It really makes no sense. If I am in just a weird area like that academically, I don't want to teach it to somebody else because they could take my job. And evolutionary biology, who cares? Okay, what is that? it's like, oh, you grow up. There we go. Or look how a man used to look like, and look at how he looks now. Geez, might be food additive. How about that? Hmm? I'm not wrong. But anyway, Michael D. Jenyns, the professor emeritus of evolutionary biology, says, well, the human penis functions primarily to transfer sperm, or the results suggest its unusually large size evolved as a sexual ornament to attract females rather than purely a badge of status to scare males, although it does both. So they had a study, and that's what they found out, that chicks dig the big meat. Um, but the most remarkable thing about it was that this contradicts earlier studies about penis size and virility. It is totally opposite of what they studied and they found in Japan and Ireland. So they had the exact opposite results. Um, my video is stuck. Is the video still stuck? What the hell? Oh man, if I have to go out and buy another, I hope I don't have to go out and buy another. I hope I don't have to buy another computer. Is it? The screen froze? Is it still froze? No, it's not. Okay, that must happen when I have to open up another window. So I'll try not to do that anymore. Seems to do it randomly. Okay, I might have to move my recording studio down to the basement then, where I can work on a hardwired Ethernet line. So anyway, we're back. So big weekend. It sucked. It was 20 below. I went outside twice. Thank you, Marlo. I'm back moving. I went outside twice. That's it. 2 times. Went to the store 2 times. This just absolutely. I just, if there's one thing I cannot stand cold weather like this. I really can't. And I don't like being, penned up. It was just like COVID again. And then I realized over the last week, well, basically since I've been unemployed, man, I've been drinking a lot, and I think I was just, the liquor cabinet is, I don't day drink, like I did. But man, I just had I got to, man, I was just drinking. I've been drinking a lot of whiskey, and I got to stop drinking that, because that's a mean liquor. It's not as mean as tequila, but so we'll find out how the show looks tomorrow. Now that I'm back in school, I can't put a clip on. So we'll see how it is tomorrow. Maybe I'll even start looking better if I get off of the sauce. But I'm telling you, man, it's so easy. It is so easy to just kind of chill out and sit back and just, at 4:30 when I get done with this, fire up a cocktail. Because it's like, what else do I have to do? But yesterday I was out, went out for a little bit yesterday afternoon, went to the store, and then I went out and sat at a local watering hole to watch the football games. Great football games, by the way. I don't know where you guys stand on it, but the Seahawks New England Patriots matchup is the one I did not want to see. Not at all interested in either one of those teams. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of pissed off about the Patriots turning everything around and getting back to that level so quickly. But they did it without, Belichick and Brady. So there's something to be said about that way that organization is, at least in the general manager seat and the people that they're getting and the new head coach. And then Seattle, I just can't stand. But Sam Darnold, you want to talk about a guy who is super motivated right there. Sam Darnold has got to be super motivated, because Minnesota, and I'm all about this. I am all about this because I hate Minnesota with a passion, with the fiery passion of 1,000 burning suns. And It's like, no, we're gonna cut you loose, Sam Darnold. You got us all the way to the NFC Championship game, but you couldn't get us over the hump. And then he goes to Seattle, wins 14 games out in Seattle, and wins the NFC Championship and is going to the Super Bowl. I think that's going to be a good storyline, but I don't want to see them there because I hate their uniform. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's no reason I should hate Seattle. They're a good team. Seattle's a great city, or it used to be. I haven't been there in a long time, but it's a great city. But I just can't stand those uniforms. I can't stand the blue. I can't stand that lime orange, that lime green. I don't like any of it. So now you're going to have to go to the Super Bowl and you're going to have to watch these ugly ass uniforms. And so they're out. And then, on the other side, it's you get the same thing happening with New England. And I really don't care to see New England there. My son lives in Boston. So, here's the thing about that. This kid lives a blessed life. And don't get me wrong, he works his ass off, right? But he was a nurse, and I saw one championship parade in my life. Only one here in Milwaukee, and that was the most recent Bucks championship parade, right? And so he goes to Chicago to work, and then comes home and says, "This is so funny." He comes home at Thanksgiving, and so it's Thanksgiving Day, and he drops this on us. He goes, "Oh, I'm moving to Tampa." Oh, there we go. Someone is calling me. I don't know who that is. We're just okay. So he goes and he says, "I'm moving to Tampa." So, oh, okay. He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to be a traveling nurse." So this is on a Thursday, and which is Thanksgiving. And we said, "When do you start?" And then he said, "Monday." As in this Monday. Yes. Where are you living? I don't know. Okay, there we go. But he takes off. He goes down to Tampa. When he gets to Tampa, will you stop calling me? When he gets to Tampa, turn that off. When he gets to Tampa, the Buccaneers win the Super Bowl. So he goes in November, starts in December. By March, he's got one Super Bowl championship parade under his belt. And that would have been the water taxi parade, right? Where Brady was all lit up and didn't he throw the Lombardi trophy from one boat to the next? Which is cool, but it's still not as cool as what hockey guys do with the Stanley Cup. So he's down there and then he comes back to Chicago, and then he goes to San Diego. So he goes out to San Diego and he lives in a house back behind what he referred to as his lesbian mother. And it was a lesbian couple, and they had a little shack out back, and that's where he lived. Well, talking about a stroke of luck, the one of his lesbian mothers happened to work at Torrey Pines. And that was the year the U.S. Open was being played at Torrey Pines. So now he has gone from seeing a Super Bowl championship parade to going to watch the U.S. Open played at one of the greatest golf courses around. Comes back to Wisconsin, and that's when the Bucks win the championship. So now he's got the Tampa Bay championship, he's got the Bucks championship. So he's seen two different championship parades. Now he goes back to San Diego, but spends another 6 months there. I don't know, 12 weeks or whatever it is. And then he goes, "Yeah, I think I'm going to go to Denver. I want to snowboard." So he goes to Denver, and the freaking Avalanche win the Stanley Cup. So within a period of about 2 years, he saw in the four major sports, he saw three championship parades. Now he's in Boston, and there's a good chance he could see another championship parade. Although a championship parade in Boston, I think, would be unbearable. Uh, I'm just glad we're not around a lot of Boston people because when it comes to the Patriots, they are obnoxious. Okay. Well, no, when it comes to any of their teams, they're obnoxious, but I can handle the Bruins and I can handle the Red Sox. The Celtics, no thank you. The Patriots, no way. No way. No way. But he's looking at possibly getting four championship parades before the age of 32. And it's like, good on you. When is it going to happen here again? Well, it's certainly not going to happen with the Bucks. Um, I don't really have any opinion because I'm not a real big NBA fan. In fact, I can't stand the NBA. I think the NBA might be just the worst game. Um, yeah, Jacob in the van, can you tell him to move back home so we can have a parade here again? He was back here when he was going to school at Marquette when the Brewers were in their run, and I thought this is it because he had hit three of the four, and I'm like, he's got to close the loop now. So we got to have a World Series championship, but it just didn't work out that way. I mean, that's what I was hoping for. Um, I think that would be the highlight of my life. Would be kind of stop whining. You're not eating for another half hour yet. Okay, this is getting earlier and earlier. It's 4 o'clock. Stop the whining. Sorry, I digress. Um, but Giannis has a calf strain and is out 4 to 6 weeks. Man, there's something that doesn't smell right there. I don't know what it is, but my gut is telling me that I think uh, maybe the rest of the NBA got to him, and said, "Why are you playing with these schlumps? Go somewhere where you're going to be respected and you can win a championship." And where they build a team around you instead of breaking a team down around you. But I don't know. But it certainly seems that that's the trajectory that he is on there. I would say sit back and watch and wait and see, but I'm not watching any NBA. Oh yeah, and here's the deal. I saw this. Okay, the team just blows right now, right? It's just a bad basketball team. It's back to where we were, 10 years ago, right? Where they just absolutely sucked. Uh, Canal water, man, dirty canal water. And we're back to that where they're under 500. They don't hustle, they don't play. Now your star is out. And what came out? Oh, yeah, there's going to be a 30% increase in season tickets. Are you dry shaving me? A 30% increase in season tickets. I don't care if it is the best athletes playing basketball in the world. The price of those seats is outrageous for what you get for the entertainment. Um, the whole load management thing always pissed me off because I like to break things down to the lowest common denominator, right, of sports fandom. And if you have I look at when the cost of going to something or seeing something, and I always look at it as um, what would happen if you're a dad, and a West Dallas, a hardworking blue collar dad, and who would do anything for his kids, but you're not raking in a lot of cash, right? I mean, you're busting your ass to pay the bills and utilities and food keeps going up, but you're just out there humping. You're hoping you can pick up a little extra cash, and maybe you want to. Your kid is the biggest Giannis fan in the world, and that's all he wants to do is see Giannis, and he's his hero. And you don't want to necessarily take him and put him in the upper tank, where he's far away. So you bust your ass and you squirrel away a whole bunch of money, and you get two primo seats. You're down in the lower bowl. You're like 15 rows off the court. You're dropping a couple hundy each for those tickets. When you think about that, $500. If someone's making $40 an hour, right? Which would be 40,000 a year, around 80,000 a year is 40. Is that it? 80? Yeah, 2,000 times 4. Yeah. So you're making 80 grand a year, right? Which is $40 an hour. To clear 600 bucks, you got to work like, 25 hours or something. That's like a half a week just to get that. And that's after bills are paid. So you got to go out and bust your ass to get um, the money to take your kid to see a star. And then you got to buy him, you're going to have to buy him the, $18 soda. And, maybe he's going to want, they're definitely going to want to eat. And then you get down there, parking's insane, at 50 bucks, right? 50 bucks a throw around the arena. And all of a sudden, you buy your tickets 3 months out in advance, and the day comes, and oh man, he's excited. He's got his jersey on. He wears it to school, and then Giannis is out for load management. F you. When they started doing that, I went crazy. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Now, yeah, they've got to have time off, right? Well, they don't have to. There's very little load management in hockey. They play 82 games too, and there's a lot more effort in a game of hockey than there is in a game of basketball. And those guys don't sit out nearly as much as NBA stars do. But I would just be beside myself. All the effort that I would have put in just to make my kid happy to go and see his star, and they decide that they're going to arrest him. It's unconscionable. But it just goes to show you how out of touch the NBA is with their fan base. BGM, yeah, you don't get a load management days at work. No, you don't. You get sick days, but hopefully, maybe you're lucky you can burn those when you're sick. But most companies, they don't let you roll over. They don't let you roll over your vacation days or roll over your sick days. And I know that I couldn't do it. But I do have. This was just absolutely wild. When you work for the state, and as I do at UW, it accrues based on time. And I've been there for 16 years now, and I've got about 376 hours in sick pay. Yeah, 376 hours in sick pay. 6 hours. And so that's what, 10 weeks? So I have 10 weeks of sick time, but I'm only teaching, if I can't, if I can't make it 2.5 hours, 5 hours a week, you know, damn, that I'm never going to burn that time. But I think you get pay. I think they pay that out when you're done, which would be a good thing because that would be a nice chunk of change. So that's where they are with the with the Bucks, and my net take on that is I really don't care. I don't know if it's an Amazon driver, maybe. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to here. Well, I'm going to just put it on the Kenneth cam right now because we're just going to move this over here. Then we get to the thing that upset Sue quite a bit this weekend over the past few days, and that was the trading of Freddie Peralta. She is not happy. She's not happy with that at all. And I get it. I understand it. The Brewers they got a great pitcher who's got some filthy breaking stuff. And then they got Jet Williams, who is a shortstop with a bat. And I think he was probably one of the top prospects in the Yankee system, I believe, or in the Mets system rather. So she's upset about that. I mean, she's really mad about that situation. I've got more of a wait and see attitude with that, simply because when you have Matt Arnold, who has been the front office Person of the Year 2 years in a row, and you've got Merv, who has been Manager of the Year 2 years in a row. These guys, and they did it in both situations um, with the prediction that they weren't going to be good because Counts had left and gone to Chicago, so it was going to be the downtime for the Brewers, and it was actually quite the opposite. Although they weren't built for October, um, which is entirely provable. I mean, it's a logical and it's a valid point. Um, I trust you got to put your trust in these guys that they know what they're doing and they know what they're talking about. So I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. In fact, I'm not going to throw a baby at all, and no one should ever, ever, ever do that. But I'm not going to totally throw the season away because Freddie Peralta is not there. I didn't throw the season away. I was one who I didn't mind Devin Williams going. A lot of people were upset about that. I didn't mind Devin Williams going. Um, Devin Williams used to scare the living crap out of me, when they bring him in the ninth inning. I always thought, when you get a guy, and yeah, he had a sick changeup, but man, a changeup closer, you know, I mean, Trevor Hoffman, yeah, but I mean, it's rare. I just feel more comfortable with a guy that can just bring gas um, late in the game, right? And if you could step it up 5 to 7 miles an hour, in the ninth inning, after these guys have been looking at other stuff all game that may not have been as intense, that gets me. I just kind of feel a little bit better about that. So Sue was very, very upset about that. But we're going to wait and see. Now, I have not heard where we're going to watch any of the Brewers games as of yet because we're sitting here about 40 days out from opening day, and I don't think they have a TV contract yet. So, but then again, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know what the hell's going on in the world all that much at all because I'm just kind of sitting back and chilling out. So I'm trying to block my view of everything. And then, the Green Bay Packers make a move with a new defensive coordinator. And, half the world is upset about that. All I did with that was, rather than pass judgment, um, I just went to the expert and I shot a text. Um, I shot a text to our good old friend, Aaron Nagler. And all I said to him was, um, Gannon, no more press man coverage for you, because that is a big thing that he likes. He goes, he's a good coordinator. I ain't worried. If he's not worried, I'm not worried. I'll go to Nags all the time and trust his judgment. And so we'll have to see. Adam Stenovich is interviewing around, but this happens, every couple of years. There's this coaching carousel, and guys move here and guys move there. And so we'll see with the new defensive coordinator. It's like this guy he got the Eagles to a Super Bowl victory. Hopefully, he should be able to do the same thing with the Green Bay Packers. So I'm not supposed to be talking about sports. So I kind of talked about sports, but I'm just talking to you guys. Like I said, if they want to screw me over because I talk sports a little bit, well then so be it. So that brings us to KB's Doppler Accu forecast, weather forecast. I talked a little about Winter Storm Fern before. Again, a lunch lady can't be a winter storm. So here is my Doppelbach Accu forecast, weather, double, triple, because I have the best radar. Well, I actually just go watch Ryan Hall. And so here we go with the, see, that's it. That's what it is. It's got to be my computer. So the current temperature out there is pretty effing cold. The windshield temperature is even effing colder, and the barometer is who gives a shit. I don't care. The 5-day forecast is right here. The 5-day forecast is colder than shit. So there you go. There's your weather update here. Um, and I'm not going to lie to you right now. I didn't I didn't prepare real well for this. This thing kind of snuck up on me. I'm going to be losing. I'm going to lose viewers left and right because I am just not doing well here. It's been a rough weekend, staying inside the house and trying to come up with stuff. I can tell you this much: there has been, I talked to Red Hot Tim Scott, and the one thing that is very the one thing is that, and I got a couple of people reaching out, and I want to thank all of you guys who have reached out um, and supported me in my not in this endeavor, but have shared their level of disappointment of the way that the old show is no longer in existence. But hopefully, we're going to get that thing back together again soon, and I would really, really like to. I know. I can't speak for Drew. I do know that getting up at 4 in the morning when it's 20 below sucks. So I'm not speaking for him. I'm speaking for me because I had to do it. So um, I know, and he and I are so much alike. There's no way on God's green earth he likes doing it. So that's all I'm saying about that. Um, but the one thing that, and I would, um, the one thing I would ask your help in, if you could, and I'm not one for begging, right? I kind of sit back and I go, hey, we let things happen, and however it goes, what is it? Wherever you, um, wherever you end up, there you are. It's that kind of a thing. You just kind of roll on down the river, and you see where the current takes you. But the one thing I could do, I could use your help if you don't mind, is I talk to some people, tell them to subscribe to the channel. Now, you don't even have to go to the channel. I just got to get the subscribers. So if I can get some more subscribers, then it would be great. So tell your friends to go, even if they don't like it, they don't have to come here, but just get some subscribers, and it would be. I would be very, very happy with that if that was at all possible. So that brings us to the point in the show where I always do um, my favorite top 5 things and what color is the sky on your planet. And I think I've got I've got a couple of good ones today. I think so. One is just mind-boggling to me how this even came to be, because I am not seeing this whatsoever. Did I freeze again? Sure as hell did. Okay. Well, damn it. Damn it. Okay, I'm back. And I'm back. Um, so what color is the sky on your planet? That's what we're going to do right now. And I saw this and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So, founding members, right here, the 2 founding members of KISS, that being Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, have been announced that they are going to be inducted into the Songwriter Hall of Fame. Yes, they are 2026 inductees into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, the legendary rock stars, and they are. I mean, you can't argue with the fact that they are indeed legendary, right? The legendary rock stars will be celebrated alongside Taylor Swift, Kenny Loggins, Alanis Morissette during a ceremony in New York City. So these 2 guys who were the master craftsmen of, okay, Rock and Roll All Night, a rock and roll anthem, without any doubt, it is a rock and roll anthem. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a big KISS fan. And I've seen KISS a bunch of times. And but I've also, this is the way that I put it, I go to the zoo a lot too, right? It's the same stuff you see at the zoo. I go to the circus a lot. And I always tell people, if you were going to go see a band, you really need to go and see Kiss, right? And oh, their music sucks and this, yeah, but you know what? It's just it defies description. You know, you got everything. You got fire and spitting blood, and I mean, how do you not? When you go watch a trapeze act, you watch a guy stick his head in the mouth of a lion, right? Might as well go see Kiss, okay? But going into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, I'm giving the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because of what they did for rock music. However, um, as master song craftsmen, I got to go with no. Yeah, Rock and Roll All Night, Shout It Out Loud, a couple of good teen angst anthems about partying and drinking and having fun. But you know what? These are the guys that also penned Love Gun, Put the X in Sex, You Make Me Rock Hard, and Grab Onto My Rocket. Uh, so in that instance, you songwriters Hall of Fame that said, "Yeah, we got to put Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons in." All I can say to them is, "What color is the sky on your planet?" Indeed. So 86 people, 87 people here. Great to see you folks. If you and again, coming off of a long weekend, and tomorrow will be a lot more fun. Just trying to throw this together. But if you're having any fun here, you can always go back and everything is posted and check out at the YouTube page. Check it out later. I'm learning how to do this, breaking stuff down into smaller clips so you don't have to listen to me stumble all over myself. But I'd have to say this is probably the worst show that I've done since I started doing these. But I can't. I appreciate you guys being around, and it really, really, it means a lot to me. Let's just say that. But then also that brings us right now to um, my top five all time worldwide, and I want you to chime in with these because my top fives are not necessarily end all be alls, right? My top fives are not always the best. My top, the best at something. In fact, I've had the top five worsts. It's just five things about a certain subject that it's the first things that I basically think of. And I had previously done, and I have a feeling that this one is going to be a recurring theme on the program. But my top five this time around is the top five groups of people that need to be deported immediately, part two. Now, people don't understand satire very much, but I want to see the people here in the comments if you want to chime in. And if you have any groups of people that you see, but I'm going to run down mine. What the hell is that? Oh, okay. I guess. I don't have no idea how a Home Depot thing just played. No clue. No clue whatsoever. Hmm. Someone's hacking into me. Someone's hacking in from the Home Depot. Okay, my top five all time worldwide groups, satirically speaking, groups of people that also need to be deported. We're going to start off at number five. And number five, the groups of people that need to be deported are right here. What the? Urban chicken raisers. Yes, people who raise chickens in the city. Uh, Last I checked, Wauwatosa is not a third world country. Uh, if you're raising chickens in the city, um, why? I guess it's the only thing that I could say. Why would you and just hop on the bus and take your chickens with you. I do not want to be living anywhere next to a chicken raiser unless you're in the country and you are a chicken farmer. But if you are going to work as an accountant or any a retail manager, and then you decide that you're going to raise chickens, no thanks. No, thank you. No chickens. Number 5, people who raise chickens in their backyard. Uh, Moving on to my list of the top 5 groups of people that need to be deported are at number 4, um, people with inflatables in their front yard during the holidays. And it doesn't matter what holiday it is. I know it happens predominantly at Christmas, but this whole inflatable thing is out of control now. Like you go to Menards or something like that around the holidays, and here come they got a whole inflatable section, and people going out and buying their inflatables. And it just looks like ass. I'm sorry. Inflatables in the front yard looks like complete and total ass. I know you like celebrating the holidays. Valentine's Day is coming up. I do not need to see a 14-foot SpongeBob down the street. Okay. Just deflate them. Don't put them in your front yard at all. So the next group of people that need to be deported immediately are people with inflatables. Moving on to number 3. And these are the ones. Okay. Moving on to number 3. People who say get her done as a normal course of conversation. I'm going to tell you this story about Larry the Cable Guy. And you can do the research on it. He is a comic out of Orlando by the name of Dan Whitney. And I worked with Dan years and years and years ago. And Dan was a great guy, funny guy. He came out with like the fastest 20 minutes that you could possibly imagine. And came out with 20 minutes of just heat. Boom, 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 fast. Just quick. And he called me one day and he said, "Hey, Kev, I got to bounce something off you." And I said, "Sure." And he goes, "I've been doing this." He goes, "You're in radio." And this is when I had made the move over to KLH. He goes, "You're in radio now." I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "How's that going?" I go, "It's going pretty good. I don't have to go out and do the road or anything like that. I got to get up early in the morning, but I don't have to travel. And I can still kind of do comedy." He goes, "I'm down here in the South and I've been calling into these radio stations and I've created this character called Larry the Cable Guy. And I'm calling into these stations in Alabama and Florida and Georgia and Arkansas." And he goes, "It's starting to catch on." And he goes, "So just talk about, I just use my material and talk about how hard I work and everything like that. And then whenever I have a job to do, I came up with this like catchphrase and I just went, hey, got to get her done." And it's like, he goes, "What do you think?" And I'm like, in my head, I'm going, "Oh God, you're doing a character like this? This is god awful. Get her done." And joke's on me, I guess, because he was doing arenas and pulling like 500-600 grand a night for shows. And meanwhile, I got KB's Unemployed show, which earns me nothing. So I think Dan got the last laugh on that, or Larry got the last laugh on that. But I can tell you this much: Larry is he is one of the nicest guys that I ever met. Now I have a friend who is big. He's a big Nebraska fan. His basement was Nebraska stuff, and I used to go to his house all the time, and um, for Nebraska games, and he had a bar, and but I loved Nebraska, and he used to talk all the time about how Larry the Cable Guy is a big guy. He's a big Nebraska fan. He's talking about him, and I never let on. I never said anything that I knew him. And my buddy Dave now moved to South Carolina. He retired down in South Carolina. And I knew that he would have a Nebraska cave in his house. So what I did was I got a Nebraska jersey. And when Larry was at, I think it was the Riverside Theater when he was back at I called him up. I said, "Hey, got to bring something over for you to sign. You mind doing that? He goes, no, not at all. And so I go over with the jersey and I get it signed and have to have. I had a picture taken of Sue and I with him and the jersey, him holding up the jersey. Uh, so Dave didn't know that I had it forged or anything like that. And then right before um, he left, I took it over to his house and I said, "Hey, I got you a Nebraska thing for your basement." And I gave it to him. He just about crapped his socks. He's like, how did you get this?" And then I showed him the picture. I said, "We've been friends for like 30 years." He goes, "Why didn't you say something?" I said, "I'm not going to name drop. What am I going to do? Go, hey, we're good friends. Oh, Larry and I are good friends." And then all of a sudden, the guy, goes radio silent on you. And then they think you're bullshit. But the get her done thing, I just remember him saying that. I just rolled my eyes and I was like, yeah, go with that. And like I said, the joke is on me. Wink McAllister never took off like that. Um, of course, you probably, maybe you didn't know that I was Wink. No, I think everybody pretty much did. And then coming down to my number one type of person that needs to be deported immediately, satirically, mind you, because otherwise people flip out. Number one group of people that need to be deported, just get them on the boat right now, are guys who have smokers and feel compelled to always tell you what they're smoking. I don't know what it is with the smoker, but when you find a guy that has a smoker, they talk incessantly about what they're smoking and what type of pellets they're using. And I don't know where that comes from. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I got a 12-hour brisket that's and I got applewood smoked spritzing, and she's out back right now, and I put the pellets in, and that comes, oh, it just falls, that brisket just falls apart. And it's like you don't even have to bring it up. It's like they're like Notre Dame graduates. It's like, wait 5 minutes and they're going to let you know. Um, and that's yeah, but I'm smoking this in there. Oh, you got to do hot links in there, and they're the best. And oh, I did chickens. And well, why don't you go get the chickens from my neighbor's yard and pop a couple of those in your smoker? How about that? That would be good. I'd like that chicken. And I'd let you tell me all about you roasting those chickens or smoking those chickens or whatever it is. But they might be, I think if you have a guy who owns a smoker and is a craft beer snob, if you combine those two things, you might have the most annoying person that could ever walk the planet. Okay, because that's all they would tell you about constantly. If they weren't telling you about what's in their smoker, they would be telling you about a craft beer. Okay, that's hoppy. Or have you had this one? No, I haven't, because I hate it. Okay, I can't stand I can't stand craft beers. I like beer. I like German beers. I like Weiss beer. Okay, but I wouldn't know what an India Pale Ale was to save my life. I couldn't tell you. You could put four of them in front of me. I wouldn't know. And you know what? I'm not about to find out. Not going to. Not going to happen. So those are my top five groups. Yes, Jacob in a van. I'm Wink McAllister, in case you didn't know. Because it's like, hello, everybody, again. This is Wink McAllister. It's just an old newsreel guy. Not much of a big voice here. Although I did figure out I can do Peter Griffin. I did that one day on the air. I never even tried to do Peter Griffin. I just spit it out. But I'm not an impressionist. I'm no Frank Caliendo. But yes, I am Wink McAllister. I'm gonna kill Wink. Well, I think Wink's gonna show up dead one of these days. But I can guarantee you, if Wink does pass, it is going to be one hell of an obituary. That's for certain. But again, I mean, I want to thank you for sticking with me. I know that I was kind of rambling today. Does that mean there's no Santa or Tooth Fairy either? No, of course there is a Santa and a Tooth Fairy. But even, you know what? Even inflation hit the Tooth Fairy. I'm glad that I don't have a kid right now. If anyone is out there with kids, tell me what you're getting for what the what the going price is for a molar or maybe an incisor because it was for us, it was change, it was quarters and nickels. Now you got to get into the paper money for the Tooth Fairy. And think of that concept. It's like you got a fairy, a character like a that is coming in, this mythical creature that comes into your child's room in the middle of the night where they're sleeping and is stuffing their hand under their pillow. It's kind of a creepy thought. Um, Jacob Van is going to make today's list with this nonsense. Oh, Jacob, you're not going to do that. Although I'm going to say, I may have a list of my top 5 regular viewers of KB's Unemployed show. Um, but I can tell you this much: I have talked to a lot of people now, and we're going to get these guests lined up. We're going to have Wags on Wednesday. Paul Wagner talk about baseball, but then I realized I can't talk about sports. So we'll probably have Wags after I've been cleared to talk about sports. Um, and we've also got, as I said, this week coming up on Wednesday is replaced with Mags and Katie, my sorority reporters, my former students. I believe they're sorority girls. It doesn't matter. My former students from Marquette. They're going to be going. They're going to come on and tell us what's happening down there on 16th of Wisconsin Avenue. And then on Thursday, a dear old friend of mine coming in to talk with Jimmy Dore, who check him out. I don't know where you stand politically. He goes back and forth. He vacillates. He probably leans a little bit more to the right. But I think he's like I am. Jimmy's like I am. And I'm not really right or left. I just hate stupidity and I hate hypocrisy. Um, so I hate everyone. But Jimmy will be on. We'll probably talk about. In fact, I know we will talk about more about comedy, state of comedy. Who are some of the great comics out there now? Who are the people that he's working with? Then we will talk about politics. I just hate talking about politics. And again, when I finally get clear, then it'll be more sports talk. I know Brian Butch is going to come on. Mikey Heller is going to come on again. We're going to put the whole band back together. I talked to Wayne Larrabee. Wayne Larrabee will be a guest. LePay is going to come on and be a guest. I just got to get free and clear before I can start having them on. So the show can only get better because God knows it can't get any worse. But like we said, we got KB show, news, weather, but not sports. And that is exactly what we're going to be talking about. And I'd like to point out that it is not sports by any stretch of the imagination. So if anyone says, is he doing a sports show? The answer is no. So if you're enjoying the show, I'd like to thank you again for coming by. This show sucked, as most of them do. But I'll cut it into clips so it won't sound so crappy as it did. And I promise you, because you guys are important to me, that I will definitely work a little bit harder to put a better show together. I feel like I've let you down. I feel like I've wasted your time. And I feel terrible. I feel so bad that I think I'm going to go make a drink, but I'm not going to because I'm going to quit drinking. That's why I'm not going to quit drinking, but I got to pump the brakes on that. So, but until tomorrow at 3 p.m., I'd say, tell people, and I get these all the time. People are hitting me on Facebook. I see they're hitting the face. I still get Facebook comments from the radio station, and people are still saying, "Where's KB? What happened to KB?" In due time, I'll be able to tell you the story. I can't tell you now, but it's. I can assure you, it's nothing that I did. That's the conclusion that people jump to. It's like, oh, he must have did something. He must have pissed. No, it wasn't anything like that. But like I said, once I'm free and clear, you're going to get the full story. You're going to get all the people that you loved to listen to on the show before. And But until that time, spread the word around. You can go to the YouTube page. I've got clips from KB and the Dungarees out there. I'm putting up shorts. All of my top fives are up there. If you don't want to watch the whole show, I put about five or some. I'm going to start putting about 5 or 6 clips up um, of little short 5 to 7 minute snippets. And you can go back and check out those. But if you know anyone, say, hey, you know what happened to KB? Yeah, send them over to the YouTube page. Tell them to subscribe, and you'll be getting some of the content that you used to get right on the game with Drew and I. Only it's not I can't talk about that content, and I can't have Drew on, which is, but in due time. I can assure you, when I'm free and clear, Drew will be at the very least a guest on the show. So the band will get put back together at some point in the future. But if you talk to anybody, tell them to go over, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, because the more those subscribers add up, the more that I will get my stuff into the algorithm, and then the more pressure it'll put on me to be professional and to be more buttoned up. But again, I promise you, tomorrow will be much, much better. That kind of got, I can see after 4 days off and being in the house and not going everywhere how this kind of snuck up on me. But anyway, thank you very much for stopping by. And as I always say, and they can't take this from me, make good choices.